So that led me to have some pretty bad experiences as I sort of went down negative roads spiritually. And then I dropped the whole thing because I was having some really weird and demented experiences that were pretty bad. Because I was coming from a place of anger and fear instead of a place of love and compassion. Anyway, so about a year ago, just out of the blue, even though uh, I'd studied comparative religion for a long time, and from an academic perspective, I was very interested. I had a lot of background knowledge about a lot of different religious paths. I'd been very interested in paganism and witchcraft, but it just academically, it never really glued for me. And all of a sudden, well, basically, I was so messed up, and I lay in bed and I just cried out internally and I said, show me something in this world that is spiritual, that is feminine, and that is good. And I meant it so badly, just from the heart. And I began to have some very interesting experiences. And through that spiritual path, I actually managed to me, and I don't care if this is a psychological thing or if it's real, like real, because it's real to me, and it has made so many good impacts in my life, just across the board, that it doesn't really matter, you know. So I'm perfectly fine with both philosophies, that it's, like a Jungian type philosophy, that it's archetypal stuff and it's psychological, like, it was healing. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so through this experience, which felt to me like meeting with the divine feminine and the divine masculine and making friends with them and coming to a peaceful place where I didn't feel at war with myself or anything else really, except cruelty and injustice and all those kind of things. But you can only defeat those with compassion and kindness. So, yeah, so that's how I came to a peaceful place, and it would be different for everyone. Everyone is different. Everyone has a special thing that they are called to. Everyone does, you know. So I'm not by any means saying this is the only road. This would definitely not be the road for many people. But it worked for me, and I think that one thing that you can get out of it is if you really, really ask the right question, you will receive an answer. And whether that be from yourself, from the higher part of yourself, like on a materialist level, like the more intelligent part of your mind, or from divinity, it doesn't really matter. If it's good, it's good, you know. And I really do believe, like what I said in the other videos, that masculinity is not... I mean, really when it comes down to it, people put on drag every day. There's masculine drag and there is feminine drag, and it doesn't matter who's underneath that drag, whether it's a man in masculine drag. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and I basically got to the point where I could sort of see through all of that and see that that is not what masculinity or femininity is. It's not drag. It's a thing that comes from within a person. And it doesn't matter whether that person is male or female, genetically, physically. It doesn't matter. I mean, for instance, one of my friends at work, his boyfriend is the most... He emits so much feminine energy. He is so... I don't know even how to describe it. He is so beautiful and elegant, and just his every movement of his eye, every little tiny gesture is so amazingly, beautifully feminine, right? And I don't mean, he's not camp. I don't mean like an exaggeration of the feminine. I mean like a real grace, you know? He's way more feminine than if I was trying to make myself that, I could never be that. And I think because he's gay, maybe he is fine with that. You know, maybe that fits his concept of masculinity for him to be like that, that he's at peace with it. He seems at peace with it. He has that sort of tranquility. But yeah, so that to me, that is feminine, you know, not more feminine than some bleached blonde woman with silicone implants who wears an inch of makeup. Much more feminine than that. I mean, most of the trans women I've seen on YouTube, they're way more feminine than I could ever hope to be, you know, and it is about energy, you know, and whether that comes from or is influenced by, or maybe the energy makes the hormonal balances change. I mean, for me, I mean, I've heard this, I think Paula Loves It was saying that pre-hormones, she really had hardly any testosterone, just naturally, you know? Whereas for me, I went and had a blood test. I don't know what was supposedly wrong with me at the time. Went to the doctor and had a blood test, and the results came back. And my testosterone is really high for a woman. My estrogen levels are quite normal, but my testosterone levels are much higher than your average woman. So, I don't know, maybe it's, from my concept anyway, it's the soul, the spirit speaking through the body. You know, that it wants to take a form that resembles, it wants the body to take a form that resembles itself. You know, and then people who are trans take it further by intervening, you know, because their soul is just crying out for that, you know. But anyway, short video. Yeah. I just thought that I would share that. I hope people gain from it. And blessings.